Hello my friends, welcome back to the 23rd episode, and today we're going to be taking out the UK because so far World War II for the UK has been a little bit like this. Bear with me. And we're aiming to put a stop to that. It's the 3rd of August 1940 in the game, so remember there's always a bit of randomness, and as long as you're within a month or two, we should be okay. If you're 6 months off, things could be a little more challenging. So there we go. Right, if you remember last episode, we took this Field Marshal. I can't quite touch him. He's off the end of my reach there, but this guy here, Rundstedt, I think it was. Yes, it was. It was Rundstedt. He was the guy that led his 3 generals and cleared out Norway. We're going to try and use him again to go for the UK. I'm just going to unpause, as you should always do at the start of a gaming session, unless you're just playing on, and that is allow for 24 hours to tick over. Let's just get rid of that music. There we go. So just in allowing for 24 hours to tick over, and that allows any game mechanics to sort of correct themselves. So if we take a look at those notifications at the top, there we go. We see 2 or 3 of them disappearing there as the midnight ticks over, and thereby correcting itself. I actually saw a notification there that seemed to suggest somebody was willing to join us. And again, it was a false notification because it would have disappeared at midnight. Okay.
Angetreten!
Whoa, it's just a little bit loud in my ear when they shout that. So I'll just turn it down a tiny bit. Right, so if I press F4, you can see here that we're still having some issues with supply. If I come to my construction menu, that's because all of this stuff isn't in yet. You can see they've started working on the naval base there at Finnmark. That's this guy here. The railway lines are not yet done, but we've got lots of other projects up here that are nearing completion. So this dockyard here, just the one. Once that's done, obviously these 15 units of build capacity that are the civilian factories will just keep cascading down. I realise I did that to the nth degree in one of the earlier episodes in this series, but it's crucial to understand that each one of these, so we've got 15 civilian factories to build this, we've got another 15 to build this, so just these two is obviously 30 spare civilian factories, and to get that makes it 45, that makes it 60, 75, 90, and that makes it well over 100, 105. Up here it actually shows how many factories in total. We own 125. We're also gaining some from trade. Now, don't forget, we can use a limited number of factories from the countries that we've dominated. I'm not sure if I've shown that before, but it's worth a recap. So take, for example, this country here. If we go back to the main view, it is marked now as the German Reich, but clearly this here was Sweden. This area over here was Norway. Will it show? If we come over here to occupied territories, scroll down just to make the point. So here we go. Here's Sweden. And if we hover over this particular tooltip here, you can see that there are 48 factories in total. Those were in Sweden, 17 civilian, 31 military. In the States, you are controlling with your current laws and other modifiers. We are able to access 26.5% of those. So it's saying 12 and a bit factories. The reason we can't get all 48 is because the people are not 100% on side. And depending on how well you control countries, as you see, some countries have less resistance. So here, Norway, you see they're currently at 3% resistance, in parts 5. Sweden's more like 10 and 11. So if we went to Norway, it's possible that we have access to a higher percentage of the factories. There it says 25.2. Sweden 26.5. So scratch that. But if resistance does go high, it's not only that you will lose access to the factories based on your laws, and remember the laws are these things here. Do we have military governor, martial law, forced labor, or do we slacken off a bit, just local police? It costs us more. How do we say this? We need to deploy more manpower into an area the stricter we want it. So if we want to, for example, think, now military governor's not enough, we need to go up to martial law, we need to put more of our own men in there, more of our own soldiers in there to secure the area. Now, thankfully, we don't need to train them. We don't need to worry about that. But we do need to supply the manpower and we need to supply the weapons to achieve that. So that is something worth considering. Now, once the country is more on side with us, again, we get more of those factories. Now, if they have a high level of resistance, and I'll tell you where it does currently have a high level of resistance, here, by the Amsterdam there, 22%. You see, it's actually currently in a little bit of a decline, which is good for us. That means they will sabotage more buildings. And sabotage is, if we have a factory, they sabotage it. That means we no longer can use the factory, but we do need to waste other resources trying to fix the factory. And that is just other civilian factories that are spare to fix the factory. Once it's fixed, we can use it again. So the more resistance there is, the more things they're going to break. That means the less we can use until we fixed it. And so to try and keep resistance down is always a good thing. If resistance goes to a crazy high level, beyond like 50-60%, there are other negative things that happen as well. We'll perhaps see one of those later on in the tutorial. Maybe. I think playing on civilian, we get a little bit of a helping hand. Okay, so today, as we've said, is going to all be about the UK. Now, I'm already aware that we'll just go through these because I'm playing new again just to check. And it's just the guerrilla fighter again. I don't want those for my Panzer guys. However, Bock has a new trait available, at least for me. If he doesn't for you yet, don't worry. But once he does have a new trait available for you, get yourself Infantry Expert. There are two traits here. Ambusher's more for if you're playing a defensive role. You can see there the traits that are gained assist with defending, max entrenchment, recon bonus while entrenched. Infantry Expert is, however, more for attack. Infantry attack, 10% bonus. And again, all of these compound on everything else, so all the other bonuses we've already got, this is just going to build. You can see Bock is now a level 5 on attack anyway, so all the infantry under him are already getting a 12.5% bonus. This is going to put another 10% on top of that, so that makes it more like 22%. Could even be 23%. Perhaps some of you maths boffins can let us know. And there we have it. So these guys, hopefully in position. If you remember, we parked them on the coast last time. Actually, can turn that up just a little bit. There we go. And Guderian as well. Oh, some of his units are still coming down, so that's fine. Now, we can plan, even though the units are still arriving, because unlike some orders, like when you draw a line, you say, oh, here's a front line, there's where to attack. You can tell the general to go straight away. With no planning, you can even tell him to begin, even though his guys aren't there yet. And sometimes, if somebody's suddenly encircling you from somewhere you weren't expecting, sometimes that's what you'll do. You'll put a general on an order to try and plug that gap. And of course, it's like, well, whoever gets there first needs to start fighting. There's no time to try and organize stuff. And, you know, it's never a good way to fight like that. But sometimes you've got no choice. Well, this time we do have a choice. We're planning. Naval invasions, however, make you wait. Okay, so you can't, oh, go now. You have to wait. And so We will take Bok
Achtung!
and his infantry.
Bereit!
Let's have a look. I'll tell you what, we'll take... If we have a look on the research, and this is where research really matters. So landing crafts, this isn't going to be available, as you see here, for well over 100 days. Now, I'm just going to refresh everyone. We went over this briefly last episode, but just to remind. So that means we're currently using these ships here to invade. Naval invasion capacity, therefore, is only 10 divisions. It's really important to understand this. If you try and invade with more than 10 divisions, the game will just not let you. It won't even tell you why. I find it almost it's not a bug, but it's I had a lot of comments under my video about a year ago, whenever it was, saying, oh, it's kind of confusing. The game doesn't tell you that's why it is. It is kind of confusing. That's why you just got to remember, this will only let you invade with 10. Had we have gotten this lot unlocked in time, we'd have been able to invade with up to, I believe, 30 divisions. Because, again, these things are cumulative. But it's not going to be ready. But that's okay. We'll just forget about that, what's ready for now. So we need to pick 10 divisions that we think are going to be particularly useful.
Angetreten!
You know, let's keep things simple. Let's just use Bok's army. And... yeah, we'll go with Bok's army, which is just infantry, apart from we've got a couple of motorized divisions, a couple of anti-tank divisions as well. Okay, so when it comes to planning an invasion, it's worthwhile just making a mental note which units, so which one of these, which divisions we're going to be making use of. And the reason is because it's not always very clear which ones you've used already when it plans your divisions. So the way I like to do it is work from the top of the list, from the general's view down. I realize I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this, but what I'm saying is if you were to pick this division, this one, and then say, right, you do an attack, and then, okay, so you've planned their attack. Okay, let's deselect. And now you've got to pick 3 more. Well, there's a chance you may pick the same division again accidentally because it's not clear which division you've already picked. So in order to get around that problem, just pick from the top. At least that's the way that I like to do it where possible. So with Bok selected, let's just go for the first 3 divisions. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to think now, where is it we want to go from and then to? Well, if we take a look at this area here, this shaded area, we already know that's where Bok's going because we've told him to. So ideally, we want our invasion to begin, has to begin from a harbour from, could be this area here, Normandy, could be this area here, Cherbourg. So I think we'll go with Cherbourg. That looks like a good peninsula. So we're going to click on Naval Invasion Order second. So let's go over that again. First, select the general. Then select just the divisions that we want to go. So I'm just going to go with the top 3. I'm going to hold shift just like always to select more than one. Then I'm going to select Naval Invasion Order. So I'm going to left click on this button. Then it's going to say the standing orders of the group will be removed. That's because the orders that we're giving here are going to override the existing orders, which are, well, just guard the general area. Okay, that's self-explanatory. If we're attacking by boat over here, we can't also be defending over there. That's okay. First thing we need to do then, we see we've got all the harbours here indicated in blue on terrain that we control. And we need to choose where we're going from. And again, I'm just going to left click and we'll pick this tile here with the harbour. So left click. Then we need to, we get all of these sort of green highlighted areas. We need to choose where are we going to. So we need to right click. Well, pointless going to our own country. we're going to where we are invading. Now, bearing in mind, crucial to understand here, we're already at war with the UK. Yeah, the UK declared war on us back when we went into Poland together with France. So we're already at war with these guys. We don't need to waste time declaring war, justifying any of that nonsense. It's already done. So where are we going to go with these 3 divisions? Bearing in mind we can only go across with 10. Well, we really need to take control of an enemy harbour, an enemy port. Why? Because we need that to get supplies in. If we don't get control of an enemy harbour, once our guys make landfall, they've got 2 or 3 days, depending on your difficulty settings, maybe 4 or maybe just 1. This is what's really varies depending on your difficulty settings. You've got about that much supply before your units become almost useless. And when your units are almost useless, they can get surrounded and easily defeated by an inferior enemy force. So in order to prevent that, we need control of a harbour so we can get supplies in. So I reckon Portsmouth is a good one to go. So let's go for Portsmouth. So I'm zooming in to be very sure on this. We're going to right click on this green tile here. So just over Portsmouth should do. There we go. So that is the order for those 3 divisions. That looks good. Before you do anything else, just let go of the mouse because we need to press enter on the keyboard to confirm this. The naval invasion, it's a real convoluted way of doing things, but once we've pressed enter, bang, that is now in. That's now confirmed. So now what we need to do, and now you can see it's really easy when we go from the top, is we need to give some war orders. Now you may be tempted to just pick 3 divisions and send them off to 3 different ports. That's not the way to play. Don't play like that, and here's why. These 3 divisions, which includes the motorized division that we're sending to Portsmouth, expect there to be lots of resistance at Portsmouth. Why? Because the enemy knows we need control of their harbour. Same thing will be the case at Dover, no doubt at Norwich, Plymouth, and so on. You know, they're heavily defended. I can tell you as somebody that lives up on the eastern coast, we had concrete thing that they're unfortunately getting rid of. They've got rid of a load of them in my lifetime, but the beaches here and there was full of concrete slabs and bunkers trying to prevent exactly this happening from World War II. So, I don't know why they get rid of them. It's a nice, and just leave a few of them there. It's a nice bit of history, but no, they've sort of got rid of actually most of them, which just in my lifetime. So, again, they're going to very heavily defend this area. So what we want to do with our additional divisions, and remember we can use up to 10, so we're going to make sure we use all 10, is attack the immediate areas surrounding. Because this area here, immediately to the left of Portsmouth, is much less likely to be heavily defended. Same goes for this area here. And the reason is because they don't have a port there. And so, the UK can't defend every single tile very heavily, so it's going to focus on where the ports are. So if these guys, if we select our 4th and 5th division here, just these 2, and we tell them to attack there, these guys will probably have a much easier time than these 3 divisions will have going for Portsmouth. And so once they form landfall, we're going to use their 2, 3, 4 days grace period of supply to assist the attack onto Portsmouth. So we'll actually have, hopefully, 2 divisions on the land attacking from the western side. We'll do the same again on the eastern side of Portsmouth. And so hopefully there'll be this all-round attack on the tile of Portsmouth, enabling it to fall. So that's the plan. So let's get on and do it. So here's divisions 4 and 5. Once again, with them selected, left click on the naval invasion order, left click on where from, move up, zoom in to make sure you get it right, right click where to, in this case this tile, press enter on the keyboard, and it's done. If we zoom in, we can even see here 3 divisions going this way, 2 divisions there going that way. All right, so that's divisions 4 and 5.
Achtung!
Here's divisions 6 and 7. So same again, left click, right click, enter. Now you may say, oh, I don't want the arrow going this way. I want it to go more direct. This arrow is just a visual graphic. It actually has no bearing on anything at all. The only thing that you need to know and need to ensure is that if you look at the navy tiles, and you can see you've got the English Channel here, and it's bordered by here, and then by here, by here, by here. The only thing we need to ensure is that all our naval invasions remain in that navy tile. The reason we'll go into later, but if you've got naval invasion and say it starts from over here, this is a different navy tile. If your naval invasion spreads into this tile here, which is the North Sea, it's a different navy tile. That's no good. We need everything to go through the so-called channel navy tile. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 8, 9, and 10. So I think I'm good to grab all of these. 8, 9, and 10. And naval invasion order again. Left click. And we will... I'm not going to go for Dover because, again, that's heavily defended. I'm not expecting to get into there very easily. We do... If you take a look, have this tile here. Now, if we zoom right in, actually see it a bit more clearly, we see this tile here with the airfield is actually connected to the water. It does not have a tile, and we know that's the case because it's not blue. So we're perhaps not expecting it to be as heavily defended. But if we do get in there, it's also going to enable us to get across towards Portsmouth. So if I right-click there, you can see that there is good. I realize it goes very close to the Dover tile, but as long as we're not on the Dover tile, they won't be able to defend. Also, it means if Dover redirects some of its forces to deal with this tile, they're going to have to split their forces to deal with this tile as well. At least that's the plan. So again, press enter, and that now is all in there. So if we press to, I'm just going to click there to deselect. If we have hover the mouse now over box tooltip there to initialize, you can see there's a bunch of stuff going on. Now, some of these take 14 days. Those were the naval invasion plans with 2 divisions. You can see some of the naval invasions take 21 days. That's because there are 3 divisions in those plans. So we're never going to wait just 14 days and then go, because only half of the plan is going to unfold. So we're going to wait at least the full 21 days, and then that way when we press go, the whole thing can go. You can see as well they require... I can't move the mouse unfortunately because we'll lose the tooltip, but each one of these invasions requires convoys to be reserved. We've got loads of convoys, so that's not something we need to worry about in this game. But when you're playing as some countries, I think especially Japan, if memory serves, there are times where you can run very low on convoys, especially when you're having to transfer lots of materials from captured nations around. So there is that as well to bear in mind. The big one, though, if you take a look, is insufficient navy supremacy in regions. Now, they're all going to say the same thing because they're all going through the channel. See that we just call it the channel, this bit of water, for those that are elsewhere. So the English Channel, or the channel as we call it, has got 0% navy supremacy, but we require at least 50. And that's because if the enemy have their ships, if we switch over to the F2, in this particular bit of water, and we don't, we can't just send our troop ships across unescorted and expect everything to turn out well, because it won't. And so the way that the game gets around that is it insists that we have at least 50% dominance of that sea. The problem is the Royal Navy is much bigger than the German Navy. So how do we gain control of that piece of sea with an inferior navy. And the only way of doing it, there's only one way, and that is to not have any navy presence in there whatsoever, and then last minute put everything we've got into that area, and then for a few days, hopefully, we will have dominance. And in that time, obviously, the Royal Navy is going to send all its ships from elsewhere down there to wrestle control away from us. But hopefully, by the time they've done that, it's too late. We've already gotten our troops across the way. That's the plan. So, with everything there good, we will unpause. Don't forget, we'll also make use of our torpedo bombers and everything else that we've got. Speaking of Navy, we've not looked there for a while. On our F2 Navy view, we've got here, or at least I have, reserve fleet, and I happen to have one light cruiser that's ready to go. Now, I could train it, as you see, it's novice, but because we're going to be requiring things, I'm just going to get this attached to my surface flotilla. Remember, we had these two admirals. We had this guy here doing the U-boats, and we had this guy here doing the surface stuff. Okay. We've got this flotilla here who's doing Navy invasion. I'm going to put him back onto strike force for now. And light cruiser. I'm just looking where to attach the light cruiser. I'll tell you what, this flotilla here has two light cruisers. Let's attach it here. So the way I'm doing that again, I'm selecting the second flotilla. Of course, the way that your flotillas are might vary slightly. Just open this button here, and I'm just going to up this to 3. If you have 3, up it to 4. If you've only got 1, up it to 2. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's go through some of the other stuff then before we unpause. We've got our research, and let's have a little look here. Industry. I'll tell you what, the improved equipment conversion, just because we've sort of got everything else, I'm not really sure how much of a difference this makes in the core version of the game, the vanilla version of the game, which is what we're playing without DLC. But what I do know is if you get DLC, that's the end of that drink, when you're making little modifications, so you've got a certain plane, let's say, or a certain tank, and it's like you improve the gun, you improve the radios, you improve the armor, whatever it is, you improve the engine, bit by bit by bit, you make the aircraft or the tank better and better and better. What this does is it takes your older versions of the tanks or planes, providing you've got them laying around spare, and it will take that older version and just put the newer equipment in, and then it's as if it's a brand new aircraft. You know, you've just upgraded the old for the new. And this makes it happen quicker. However, because we don't have any DLC, I'm not entirely sure how that will work. But you know what? Let's just do it. And it increases the speed by 40%. And we'll see where it goes. All right. No, template, that'll be for that medium tank. We'll ignore that still. Free dockyards. Okay. Well, this dockyards is weird in this game, and I think I've touched on it before, because dockyards do not gain skill. So, you know, in your normal factories, when you're building stuff, they gain up here. They call it production efficiency, which is like the skill, how good the factory is. See, for example, these sets of factories here are very good at producing the MP38. Look at that. They've got 100. Actually, 100.57%. I didn't know it was possible to go over 100%, but apparently it is. Versus, say, the Pack 40 here. See, these are just at 57 because they've not been doing it very long. For whatever reason, this does not apply to dockyards. If we come to the dockyards, which means you can chop and change dockyards at your heart's content, there is no skill acquired or production efficiency. Why? I don't know, but it's just the way it is. That means we can produce whatever we like at a moment's notice, chop and change as required, no ill effects. So let's have a look what we've got. We've got one battleship, the Shanost class. I'll tell you what, we can get that one. We'll put all the dockyards on there and try and get this finished. Now, it's a battleship 2, but it would be nice to get it finished before it's completely out of date. So with the 4 factories, hopefully 5, we will get this sometime between July and October 1941. We're just waiting for that 5th dockyard to come online. Okay. That's that one done. Here we are with our unread Navy reports. I'm just going to hover over, and there you see we have gotten a defeat since the last save. Again, this is going to vary, so I'm just going to go through them. Here you see there's actually an engagement taking place. I'm not sure we've looked at this before, or if we have. You can see we've got what appear to be 5 subs there that also appear to be retreating. As you see there, if we hover on the tooltip, we're disengaging. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got destroyers that are escorting apparently just one convoy. Must be a valuable convoy to have one convoy ship escorted by what appears to be 6 destroyers as well as 2 cruisers. So must be valuable equipment there. Obviously, our subs have got no chance and are attempting to disengage, hopefully without loss. There's always a chance. But let's just go through the results. So we managed to sink a convoy there. Okay. Let's just go through. What happened here? We sank another convoy. Okay. And what about here? We lost a convoy there. So the German convoy going through the English Channel, which is, of course, never a good thing. And again, one of the DLC, I know I keep saying this, but tells you, and I've said it before in this series, I think it should be a core part of the game, telling your convoy ships which navy sectors to completely avoid. And the English Channel, I just don't see why you would send any ships through there until you control both France and the UK. Like, why would you do it? The Royal Navy is so powerful, you're just going to lose. You lose the boat, and then you lose the stuff that was on the boat. And if you're carrying infantry and that, you're losing men and equipment and goodness knows what else. So it's never a great thing. If we select how are we doing here? He's fighting at low risk. That's what we want. Light cruiser. Once we unpause, that boat should go to where we've told. Okay, we're at war. Doctrines available. It's this old air experience again, and that's going to finish off that list. That's great. All the future air experience we get is literally like going to waste. Yeah, I guess it just piles up. We can't really spend it anymore. With DLC, you use air experience to actually design your aircraft as well, but that's not the case here. Okay, I think we've got everything covered. It's been a long half hour preparing it all, but it's ready. And so it's worth now, as we unpause, if we come over to the F3, we'll try and do this on the go. We're looking to get, if we have any spare torpedo aircraft trained. We do here. I realize it's not 100 aircraft, but you know what? It's enough, 74. So we'll get those guys training. And if we add a new fighter wing, what else do we have? I say a fighter wing. That's exactly what we're going to add. And remember, we've got a right mishmash of fighter aircraft here. Just pick one of them. And as long as it's a fighter, you know, with these icons matching, that which is a fighter as well as an air interceptor. As long as they've got those icons, doesn't matter what the plane looks like. If you recruit the fighter wing, they will automatically recruit any which aircraft that fulfill that requirement, and actually the best that you have available. So even if this one here or one of these might be the worst, let's pause there. Japan proposes the tripartite pact. So this is the I believe is it the Japanese and Italian? It is the Italians. Yeah, to check that it worked. Yugoslavia. So you've got Japan, it's Italy and Germany on the tripartite pact, which I'm not entirely sure because, again, there was the whole thing that did Japan fight Russia? No, they didn't. And as soon as Russia knew that, Russia sent all its let's have a look. Let's just sign that. The Italian-German Technology Treaty. Okay. In my opinion, this is massively helpful. So Italy suggests the sharing of technology. Now, again, what that means insofar as the game is, if you agree, you get a research bonus for mountain infantry, as well as 2 cost reductions for naval doctrine, which are massively important. If we say no, we lose 10 political power. So, insofar as the game goes, there is no reason not to say yes. Like, there's literally no reason. So, let's agree. So, back to here. So, even if we recruit what looks to be this aircraft, as we say, once we've done that, 37, okay, you may initially have just 37 arrive, but they'll mishmash the others. If I unpause, you'll see this get up to 100 in no time, mixing in the other aircraft. In fact, we've got these guys up to scratch, so let's pull all of these silver stars. We'll cancel their training, and I'm just going to move them over to an airbase near where we need to be. So this airbase here, capable of 1,000 aircraft, I beg your pardon. Let's right-click onto that spot. I'm not yet going to tell my aircraft to patrol into the English Channel, but that's exactly what we're going to be doing for the outbreak. So what I am going to do, let's unpause, is get some of these aircraft that are up here. We no longer need them up there. Down ready for the English Channel. So Italy's signed, that's great. Japan accepts. Italy accepts, great. And again, just accept that whenever it comes around on your game. So air superiority fighters, I'm just going to click on the icon. It'll be the easiest way. And we'll bring them down there. Okay. Actually disconnecting them from a general, which is fine. Press escape. Same again for the armored. Put them there. Okay. Disconnect. And I'm going to press escape. Do these fighters here as well. Actually got loads of them there. Look at this airbase right at Calais can support 2,000 aircraft. That's helpful. So we'll right click there. Okay. And same again for the close air support. Now I've probably disconnected all of them from the generals, or almost all of them, as you can see. We will manually assign them where to be just for the initial stages of the invasion. Hopefully, if the invasion goes well and they get footfall over the UK, we will then adjust that at such time. We've still got the supply aircraft. Running supplies no longer need it, and of course is costing political power. So let's cease operations there. And if we press H or press this little icon here, that's going to stop its mission. What I like to do, just to make my transport aircraft a little easier to find, I send them to southern Germany. You've got a big air base here near Munich. Unless things are going south towards the end of the war, it's probably your safest airbase anywhere. And I just park them there. See, we've already got a transport wing there. We've got 2 of them. So that's great. Right, escape. Let's see how things are going. Let's pick up the pace. Still got 3 close air supports there. So let's cancel them. They were actually doing a long-range mission from Calais. Okay, so we don't need those anymore. What we got here? Close air support. Let's bring those guys down. Okay. Again, anything that you've got, bring it this way. Now, I've got a Navy squad. You can see it here. If I just slow down time, just because I don't want to miss this naval invasion. Over the lower Baltic Sea. Well, if we switch back to F1, we've basically got this area. Yes, there's Russia, but we're not yet at war. Yes, there's Finland. Same thing again. The exception is there's this little island here that still belongs to Sweden. We will have to concern ourselves with. That's perhaps an oversight. I didn't do it yet. I was just too eager to get on with the UK. But this, we're going to bring these over. And again, we're not dumping them into the English Channel just yet. We need that little bit of time. Actually, we've got some Navy problems over here in the Bay of Biscay. I'm actually going to bring it over to that airport and tell them to patrol Bay of Biscay. As long as we don't have anything in the English Channel, we shouldn't be alerting the Royal Navy to focus in on that area just yet. These ships, these boats here that are doing this little bit of sea, I'm going to bring them over to this airbase, but again, still tell them to patrol over the eastern North Sea. And the reason is I can swing them over to the channel at a moment's notice. I'm going to do the same with these guys here. So now I'm actually selecting on the airbase, and I'm going to make sure that I just pick on the torpedo bombers there. And again, right-click on that airbase, right-click on that sector. English Channel to be left well alone for now. Okay. Right, back to the F1 view. Let's just have a look at some other generals. We've got this guy here, guerrilla fighter, Manstein. Now, he again is a panzer guy, so I'm not going to give him that. That appears to be everything there. F2, we've got some traits that we can give to our U-boat guy, and we've got lots of command power. So let's have a look here. We've got... These don't really apply, because we're not going to give Dönitz control of destroyers and cruisers. However, we do have a torpedo expert option. Torpedo hit chance plus 10%. Well, that's massive, because all of our subs use torpedoes, so we'll definitely go for that. These here, Navy mine-laying efficiency. You can use torpedo submarines, should I say, to lay torpedoes if you design them that way. I just personally don't do that. So again, I'm going to leave that well alone. I do look forward to Dönitz being able to get some of these upgrades. Blockade runner doesn't yet have the ability to do or to get there. Does he have any other stuff? I mean, Ironside, this is more like battleships. Spotter, fleet protector, blockade. Have a task force in combat where every ship has a speed of over 37 knots. Okay. At some point, we want to get one of these. And actually, if we take a look at this Blue Water Expert, he's almost there. And look at the advantage that gives over deep oceans. Movement, attack, and defense plus 10. Green water, that's a long ways off yet. So, but blue water is very close. We've got a few other things. I'm just going to pause it here because if we come to the F1 view, take a look at Bork. It looks like the entire wait has passed. If you take a look, and it was near the beginning of August, I believe we started the stream. So the only reason that we can't go yet, I say the only reason, we're still waiting. Why are these guys moving so slowly? Let's unpause. Oh, they are still... Okay, they're not moving that slowly. I beg your pardon. But Navy. So there is no point beginning our Navy assault until everybody's in position. Then we need to get all the ships attacking the channel as well as all the aircraft all at the same time. So that's what we're going to be waiting for. I'm just going to wait for this to trickle down. I don't understand why it's taken those divisions that long to get down here. In any case, let's have a look at some of the other things that we can be doing. So national focus, I'm just going to pause while we take a look at this. Let's go from the left, the 4-year plan. Air Innovations 2 is always a good one. And again, you can take a look at some of the stuff we get. Air Experience plus 50, that's now basically useless because we've already fulfilled all of our stuff. We get one big research bonus for radar technology, but more importantly, we get access to rocketry. We've also got the Navy one. Now, this is good for Navy bomber models. 2 research bonuses. I think we've used We started work on the second, so we will only be able to make use of that one more time for the more advanced. Treaty with the USSR, obviously, if you're following history, that's the way to go. It's not just benefits for you, but it's also benefits for Russia if you go with that. I choose not to, but I'm aware some players like to do that. We, of course, have already, in some way, befriended Japan. And having a little look down here. And another useful one is the U-boats over down here. So let's just go for that. Okay, the U-boats, effect, give us some advantages for research. And then in the end, actually makes the U-boats cheaper to make. Free civilian factories. Okay, brilliant, because we've got loads of stuff ready. Let's have a little look up here. Still low on supply up there. Let's have a look on the infrastructure. I'm going to boost the infrastructure up here, not least because we've got some resources and we're struggling with supply. So let's get that up to a level 2, and we'll get that up to a level 2. We'll get this up to a level 4. You can see all the resources that we're getting there. And again, improving the road networks improves how many resources we can get out. These resources, the tungsten and the chromium, are especially useful for the better tanks later on, which we are edging towards now. So definitely get that on the way. And then, of course, just more of the other stuff. Let's have a look. Fuel, well, we can always do with more fuel refineries at this stage. Let's have a look to anywhere. Yeah, here we go. Brandenburg, that's 100% on the road network. So I'm just going to press Shift to get the maximum amount of refineries and click. And in this case, that's all 3 onto Brandenburg. So that's great. And then let's have a look up here. Something to be said about when exactly do you get a benefit for improving the road networks and then building factories. I did a video specifically for that on the channel. It's outside of this series. Do check that out if you want to know how much advantage you get by building a road network. But for now, I think because we've got 60%, there's just a couple of slots. I'm going to go for naval dockyards just because we're touching the sea. And again, shift click just to fill that slot. And then further into France, let's go for the military factories. This area here is 80%, so that's good. 5 slots, shift click for military. And then this area here, Borgen, or I'm making a, I know I am. Somebody from France is laughing their head off and or getting insulted. I apologize. But yeah, civilian factory, shift click. And again, that's going to enable us to build stuff more quickly. And I think we'll leave it at that. Air wings with no mission assigned. We're aware of that. That's okay until we start war. Doctrine, we've just got the Navy, so let's see if we can get another one of those. We've got capital ship. Now, we don't have any aircraft carriers as Germany, and I'm not going to go for any, but we do have some larger ships. We do have a 35% cost reduction thanks to the Italian technology agreement. So we'll okay that one. And then free military factories. How are we going? 48 minutes. We need more. Well, we've got 5 pieces of spare rubber. Let's have a look logistics-wise. What are we most short of? What I would really like, naval bombers. There we go. More Navy bombers. So let's up the production there from 5 to 1 to 2. Once we've got the UK, the Navy bombers won't be quite so much of a thing. And the new advanced air support, we'll put 1 more on there. That gives us 2 pieces of rubber spare. We've got these tactical bombers. We'll put 1 more factory on those. And the motorized, we'll put 1 more factory there. Once it becomes available, that'll do. Dockyards. Build ships. Oh, look at this. The new cruiser, the level 3. So if we come to the light cruisers here, which is what I want, let's get one of those built. Okay. Infinite. That's fine. Boom. We may as well actually, if we come over to the heavy cruiser, Oh, is apparently... Oh, yeah, of course, it's a separate research slot on this version of the game. Okay, so we'll just stick with the light cruiser level 3. Very useful to have. And otherwise, everything there's looking good. So, selecting Bok, and the only reason is I'm waiting for this division to get into position, so let's not waste our time doing anything else. So I'm going to speed up time. Okay, until we see this guy getting into position. I realize not wasting time doing anything else, but we did just get that new aircraft researched, so let's click on that. Find the old aircraft, the tactical bomber, the Heinkel 111, and we'll go for the Ju-88. The Germans used to call this affectionately anti-Jew, this particular aircraft, anti-Jew, because it was the, not anti-Jew, auntie as in mum's or dad's sister auntie, on this sake. And because it was a transport aircraft that if they were heavily injured and in certain parts or other transfers, it was an aircraft that, you know, would get them out of harm's way or sometimes brought them to harm's way. But yeah, affectionately called Auntie-Jew. Auntie. Gotta be so careful, aren't you, these days? Right, there we go. Right, let's unpause. And again, this division's almost in position, which is, of course, important because you can't get the divisions invading when they're not even there yet. There we go. Pause. Right. 10th of September. It's 11 o'clock at night. Let's initialize. So before we can tell him to go, and again, if we hover the mouse, you see everything there's red. We don't have enough naval invasion or naval, what do I say? Naval supremacy on there. In fact, we don't even have any intelligence because we don't have any ships out there seeing what's what. So let's make that change right now. So coming over to the F2, I'm going to get my Navy guy to go nowhere but here. So in order to do that, I'm going to right-click on this bin to make sure I don't forget anything, because you can see, okay, we untick here, here, here. But let's right-click there just to make sure we don't forget and click OK. So there are no more orders for this Navy. We're now going to right-click onto the channel. That is all. I'm going to select my smaller guys. They're going to be on patrol. And my larger Navy contingent, I'm going to have one of them, I think this one, on... Let's set them on patrol as well. And this one here with the heavy cruisers, let's set them on naval invasion support. So they're going to help bombard the coast, while the other guys are just out there looking for enemy ships. Escape. U-boat guy. Now, I realize he's been doing a fantastic job out to sea. The thing is, we need all hands on deck in this particular area. So I'm going to actually do the same again, just because we are a little short on ships. Get all the U-boats here. So right-click onto the English Channel, and I'm going to, instead of going for convoy raiding, I'm going to go for patrol. So they will go not just for convoys, but any enemy ships of any description. And I think that will hopefully do a good job. The exception is, of course, in this case, I've got one flotilla that's still out there having a fight. They will come over once their fight's concluded. Okay, that's the Navy side of things done. We come over to F3. We need all the same for the air. So these guys that have been in the Eastern North Sea, I'm just going to right-click into the new English Channel region. Same with these guys in the Bay of Biscay. Let's move those over to the English Channel. And now what I'm going to do is all the aircraft that don't have a job, and that's easy to find, these guys here, we're going to tell them to do... I'm just selecting the fighters. I'm going to pick 3 fighters to go into the English Channel, or 3, you know, wings, you know what I'm saying. Now, all of these guys here, these are bombers. They're not going to find any tanks in the channel. Now, we can order them to fly in the channel looking for tanks. They're not going to find any. So we either need to switch them to Navy, or we need to put them over southern England. for now, I'm going to tell them to go for Navy and there because we're short on that. So I'm going to double click on these medium bombers just to select them all. Make sure only Navy strike is selected and right click onto the English Channel. I realize they're not the best at going after Navy, but they're better than nothing. The close air support, I'm going to double click on those. Make sure that close air support is ticked, and we're going to go for Southern England. That's where we're going. Torpedo bombers, that's taken care of. Okay, escape. Let's find some other. This airbase here. Double click on the close air support. Make sure close air support is ticked. Southern England. Double click on the fighters. Make sure air superiority is ticked. And we're going to go for English Channel. I'm just going to select one of them to go for Southern England. We've got a tactical bomber there, and again, it's just the same again. Tactical bombers, middle, set it to Navy, put them into the Channel. Spread now fighters between Channel and Southern England. Close air support, all going for Southern England. Okay, here we go, some more at Calais. We've got a fighter race here that's unfortunately been killed. If we select on his icon, we've actually got a bunch of unassigned fighter races. Remember, these give a whole bunch of stats, not just to themselves, but the entire fighter wing. So let's select them. He no longer needs to be on low intensity, low retreat. So let's go Southern England. These guys standing by Southern England as well. We've now got 400 fighters there. Standing by, standing by, standing by. Let's put those into the Channel. We've now got 800 fighters in the Channel. Standing by, standing by, standing by. Let's put those into Southern England. 700 there. Okay, medium bombers. Once again, double click to select them all. Navy strike only. Into the Channel. Close air support. Double click. And no retreat. And close air support only. Southern England. There we go. Everybody's been taken care of. Slow time right down. We'll deal with all the other icons to do with recruitment and research on the next episode. We've got enough here. Come back to the F1 view. And what's really important now, if we hover over box, see this, we have 20% supremacy based on what we've done. We need to unpause now, and we need to wait for that to trickle over 50. As soon as you get 51% naval supremacy, press go. Because the naval supremacy initially is going to go up, and at some point it's going to fall. We need to invade as soon as we get 50%. So let's unpause. Put the mouse over there. And we're going to watch these stats change. So it's still 20%. We've now got 29. It's 4 in the morning. Of course, we've got some Navy ships that are still moving into position. I perhaps could have arranged that a little bit better. Some of them were quite far away. 35%. As soon as we get over 50, I'm going to pause in any case. Let's up it to 2 bars. 34%. 37, 38. Come on, come on, come on. I've got to ignore these notifications. We're at 38%. Pause. I've lost my tooltip. Oh, look at that. We've been able to go. Look at that. We've got a green light to go. Let's begin. All of those red notifications have disappeared. So I'm going to pause there. Let's just get rid of these notifications. We're on a level 2. We've got justification against us, apparently. The Soviet Union is justifying against us. Okay, we need to wrap the UK up and wrap it up quickly. We do have a army over there, but I'm not sure that division is going to hold by itself.
Angetreten.
You may or may not have had the Soviet Union justifying against you. What I am going to do is select these infantry guys that are ready.
Achtung.
Let's create a new army. And let's just pick one of the top generals. And who we're going to put in with this guy. And I'm just going to drag, again, to drag the front line, because currently this guy here, this general, is covering the entire front line with Russia. He's apparently okay with this, but this new guy, let's just drag him next door, he's going to cover part of it. So if I hold down left alt, and it's quite fiddly to do, you see we get this front line with these two little bits at the end. We can right click, which is again kind of complicated. Why not left click drag? But anyway, right click drag, and we can, I'm just demonstrating there, adjust the length of the front line. It's very tricky. You've got to hold down alt key, right click, and then drag. So if we say drag it to there, let go, and then I can get my new general, who is... oh, it wasn't him, was it? Where was that? Oh, it was this guy, I beg your pardon. So we'll move him across. There we go. And I'm going to press Z and right-click drag and just cover the area that we've just left. There we go. He actually needs a few more guys. So let's come back to the training officer. And I'm just going to give him 1, 2, 3, 4 more divisions. There we go. So you may or may not have to worry about that depending on if Russia was justifying on you. I just really don't want Russia trying to overcomplicate things while we're about to go into the UK. I'm not going to unpause until I've told Bok to go. We're just going to focus on Bok. The video's an hour long. I like to try and keep it an hour long, but I really want to get this invasion in. Let's click activate. You only need to get Navy supremacy for the moment of the activation of the plan, which we've now done. So if we begin to lose Navy supremacy, I mean, obviously that's far from ideal, but it's the requirement now has been met. Now, as we send more soldiers across, the more we lose naval supremacy, obviously some of those transports may get picked off, which is not good, which is why I'm going to keep all of my navy in this sector until we've completed the UK. So I'm going to slow time down. I'm going to unpause. And if we zoom in, okay, more enemies. This is with Greece. Thankfully, we've got Italy down there dealing with Greece. Of course, Germany was involved down there. We will assist at some future episode, but for now we're focusing on this. So this here is the transport, and you can see carrying divisions on board this figurine. So I'm going to speed time up a little bit. Of course, it does take a few hours to cross the channel, and there you can see there are actually multiple figurines. Alright, the first battle has commenced, so the 3 divisions that were to attack Portsmouth have arrived, and they're actually winning. And again, there does seem to be some advantage because we are playing on civilian mode, making this easier. It's already 89% in our favour. You can see the other transports about to unload. Right, pause. So this is what I was hoping to be able to demonstrate, although it does appear that we're going to win Portsmouth regardless. You see here these 2 divisions that have dropped next door that we said would be very easy. We were expecting this. What you now want to do with these divisions is get them fighting versus Portsmouth. And again, these 2 divisions are going to fight now, as well as the Navy invasion is going to make it much easier. This is crucial to understand. You may think, oh, well, why bother? I was going to win Portsmouth anyway with those 3 divisions. Yeah, only because we were playing on civilian mode, okay? So get into the hang of surrounding enemy wherever possible. And that's what we're going to do here. And look at that. Already 96% defeated. And there we go. We've defeated them. Bang. Now we've got control of Portsmouth. We've just got our other guys that have apparently landed here. Not only do we get supplies through to our guys? So see here, these have got a yellow supply issue. That's about to go away because we've just opened up a connection. We can now get reinforcements through and waste no time doing so as soon as you've got that port. So in this case, Rommel as well as Guderian are in position. So let's select Rommel, press Z. Now, you no longer need to give him a naval invasion order. The reason is because we have captured this little bit of land. Crucially, the Navy Yard. The Navy Yard, the dock is so important. So with Rommel selected, press Z. It's just going to be an easy way to get him across. And I'm just going to click there, just lazily left click. I'm going to do the same with Guderian. Select Guderian, Z. Okay, and just pop him on the front line. Okay. Let's unpause. I'm just waiting for this division to land over here. You can see him threading in there. As soon as that's completed, which it has now, let's pause again. I'm now going to do the same thing with Bok. Bearing in mind, we've got 10 divisions from Bok, the 10 that did the naval invasion. They're already over here, but Bok's commanding 24. So there's another 14 divisions back there. We need to get them all across. So the way to do that, just select Bok, Z, and again, front line. Okay, sorted. Press escape. We've got several divisions here. I just want to capture Dover with these divisions. We'll get this division here as well. Let's unpause. That should be relatively easy for these 4 divisions to do. And that is obviously giving us access to a secondary port as well. And this, there we go. Okay, perfect. Right. Let's press escape. We've got a bunch of divisions here and it's starting to look messy because they were each given individual orders. I'm just going to select them all. I'm going to right click on the bin to delete all their existing orders. Okay. I'm going to left click, press Z, and once again draw a new front line. And there you can see it's a little tidier now because these divisions are acting as one rather than 4 separate invasion orders. Okay. I may tell them to advance, but on a more balanced way. And let's just go for sort of central and northern England. Okay. And we'll tell Bok to activate. I mean, he's happy. He's green. Tell him to go. Now, if you recall aircraft-wise, so we'll pause, we'll come over to the F3. We've got so many fighters in the channel, no longer the priority for the UK. They're going to be focused on southern England. So I'm going to select all my fighters. I'm going to hold shift. I'm just going to deselect a couple so that we've still got a couple in the channel. And I'm going to give all of these over to somebody like Bok, who is fighting in England. So if we right select or right... Let's just tell him to hold, so all of those fighters are no longer doing anything. I'm now going to right-click Bok, and Bok's now got 600 fighters, or 599, that he can do what he wants with. And again, he's going to order them up the UK as he sees fit. Okay, let's unpause. Let's press escape. Back to the F1. Here we see our panzers. Some of our panzers are about to arrive that we were waiting for. And again, if the Royal Navy had sunk some of these ships, what you'll find is panzers that were previously 100% strength, maybe down to 50 or even less, just depends. And let's wait for some of these green bars to re-emerge as these get into position. So Rommel, let's get his orders. Let's go for Plymouth Way. And Guderian, let's assist with the push to the north, like so. Press escape, unpause, 3, 2, 1. Just waiting for them to get above halfway. There's Guderian, he's pretty happy, so let's tell him to begin. Rommel is kind of above halfway, let's tell him to go as well. And there we go. The invasion looking very nice. We have a bunch of units here that have not given an order. That's because they're from Bok. So once again, let's redraw that front line with Bok. So deleting orders, Z. Once again, the front line through the swath of UK. Let's just go all the way to the end. And let's execute. There we go. I think Rommel's got more than enough units to finish off the southwestern portion of the UK. And you can see this, I can't emphasize enough, guys, playing on civilian, this is happening a lot easier than it would do ordinarily, but that's fine. London's apparently fallen. Another victory for the Vaterland. Okay, on pause. Yeah, this is happening really quite quickly, which is what we want, right? And again, if you feel like it, just grab a few units, panzers, shift, right-click some orders through. He's about to go. There we go. And these are encircled now. These enemy divisions are not going to be able to escape. Just the one. Pop goes the helmet. And there we go. Right. Still got Russia justifying. I'm not sure how long that takes. Let's just hover over the tooltip. Does it say how long it's going to take? Because, you know, we've got so many days to wait. I'd like to think it's the same for Russia. Let's unpause. Let's hope we've got the UK. That'll be an exciting next episode. Trying to deal with Russia. Let's get them motorized. And again, right click. Let's just get... Let's just get Wales dealt with. And there we go. Things looking good. Let's make sure Rommel's assisting with this as well. He was, of course, initially just told to clear out down here. Manchester's fallen. Liverpool's about to fall. We've got Hull, Leeds, or Ulwick capital U, as they say. Liverpool's holding out quite well, but it's surrounded. Big pause. 1st of October, there's why. I thought maybe they were about to surrender. I'm going to speed it up to a 3-bar. Why not? Because this is, you know, there we go. The UK has capitulated. We've gotten a bunch of stuff as always. Great news. Now, this is the first time we've been presented with this screen. I don't know why. Sometimes when you win it happens and other times it doesn't. We now need to decide which countries do we wish to control personally, which countries do we wish to puppet, and which countries are we not interested in. It's cheapest. We have so many points that we can use, and it's split between our allies. Now, if we've done more fighting than our allies, which we have, we will have more points so we can spend more. So in this case, we've got 4,400 points. I realise this is going to make it super long, but it's so important because we can't come off this screen until it's done. So I want to control basically all the areas that I already do directly in Central Europe. So again, we've got either the option take state, liberate, puppet, or change government. We're going to go take state for now. And I'm just going to click on all of these areas. In fact, a quicker way to do it would be if we come to Free France, we could just click select all. There we go. All right. Now, don't forget, France actually includes some far off places such as here through Central Africa. Now, taking these areas is probably not the best because the UK's there. So we may actually unselect these because why use points taking areas that we can't hold anyway. So I'm just going to deselect some of these. And as you can see, as we deselect them, it obviously gives us more points to spend elsewhere. And I'm sure there are some more... Indochina, this is a massive area. So this is what obviously is now Vietnam and Laos and Cambodia. That's currently all this area here, Indochina. It's a great area to have resource-wise. Look at all the rubber and stuff. The problem is, can we hold it? I don't know. There's this area here as well. I don't really care about that area. Let's deselect that. I'm not sure if we can hold all of this. I'm really not. I'm just not sure if I can get forces there in time. And again, Britain holds this area. They've got a massive navy. Now, what we could try and do is puppet the area. So let's try puppet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's their own government, but we control them secretly. At least that's the idea. Okay. Let's come back to take state. Poland. We certainly want Poland because this is all part of controlling, you know, when we go into Russia. So if we come over to Poland, let's just select all. Okay. We've still got plenty of points left. Same for Sweden and Norway. You may wish to puppet these guys, but I personally, I just like to take them. There is a benefit to puppeting them in that they won't resist and they will also give you a trickle of manpower, but you don't directly benefit from all the factories. So let's take all of Sweden. Okay, and Norway, same there. Take all of those. Okay, now we've still got some points, which is good because we want the UK. Where are we here? UK at the top. Excuse me. So here's a perfect example. Look at this. We've only got 1988 points left. It's costing us 3,000. So we can't select all. So I'm just going to manually go through some of these. We will leave some of the more expensive areas just for now. We'll certainly get Northern Ireland and these areas because we don't want other places getting them. Northern Scotland. Let's work our way down until we run out of points. So we've still got plenty. And again, the UK's got areas elsewhere, including Canada. So I'm sure we might be able to get... Yes, we do. We get all of the British Isles. But if we take a look, Canada's now its own self, apparently, but there's this area here. Now, if we take this area, again, are we able to defend it from Canada? I don't think so. So while these would be nice areas to get, I'm going to leave them for now. But if you feel like taking them and seeing if you can get forces across there, by all means, knock yourself out. I'll tell you what we can do, though. We can at least try and puppet them. And then we'll see if we can get there. Now, is Canada... Canada looks like we can puppet it as well, but I don't think we've got the points to do so. Yeah, we can. So we can actually take Canada. Now, this may work because we're not yet at war with the United States. So I take that back. We can actually take these. And again, I'm just weary there of our score. The problem is, so the US turns on us, we can't really defend it while we're doing Russia, can we? So, I realize I'm chopping and changing here. I'm going to switch back to puppet. So we're going to puppet the area. Right, 1, 2, look at our score tumbling away. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... The reason I'm picking this area up here is because it's nearest to us. Oh, we've got Denmark here as well. I'll tell you what, we'll definitely take that area. We haven't already. There we go. We've got Iceland as well. We'll take that. There's this little island up here that was added at some point belonging to Norway. I think we've got that, have we? Yeah. There we go. So back over to puppet. And I'm just going to go... There we go. So we've got no more points left. So I'm going to submit those demands. Now here's a bunch of contested areas. Vichy France is contesting certain areas. We're going to select all and demand all of these areas. Now it's going to cost us an additional 950 points to demand all of these areas from our next lot of rounds. So let's demand... There we go. Okay. Right. Once more. Still in puppet mode. Canada, Canada. And again, we've got a load more points because it's the second round. Other countries have taken parts that they want. Let's get all of Canada. There we go. And I'm just going to submit demands. They're still demanding all of these areas. So I'm going to select all. Demand once more. Close. Submit. Select all. Next round, we're going to demand them all. Okay, submit. Next round, select all, demand, okay, submit. That's it. Right, confirm exit. It's finished. Boom. Pause. Right, so 2nd of October 1940, this is the state of the situation. We now control the UK, and Soviet Union is justifying on us. What a fantastic way to end episode 23. Thank you very much for watching the channel. Thanks to everybody that supports it, whether it's a financial contribution or just simply a like and a comment. It means the world to me, and until next time, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Take care. Bye-bye.